Natalie Mariduena, influencer, businesswoman, Sports Illustrated supermodel, fashion designer, to name a few, ranking in over 3.3 million Instagram followers and launching her new clothing line, Elliday. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Natalie Mariduena.
Thank you, Joe. What a great little intro.
Natalie. We go so far back, so far back.
We do.
And that is where I wanted to take this conversation today. Let's take a dive back into 2016.
Wow, memory lane.
Because as you walked in, you found the Dobricks coin and you said, "Are you going to spend it?" And I said, "Yeah." And you said, "Well, I would save it because what if it's going to be worth money one day?" And I do that with everything, but I didn't think that was going to be it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel we ran out of coins at the restaurant, and I feel like I do this all the time with like tickets, or I'm a little better about it now because I was like hoarding at one point. But if it's tickets or passes like to an award show that we've been to, or even like clothing, like if I wore a shirt like when I played college soccer, I still have all my shirts and my hoodies and all that, and I'm like, I can't get rid of it because I don't know, for whatever reason, I think one day it'll be of use to me or something. I don't know why, but the coin though, I'm like, it's a part of the original batch, like McDonald's, and that's like the dream one day to have like thousands of Dobricks locations. So like imagine like you have the original coin in the original packaging from the original production batch from the original Dobricks on Sunset Boulevard in LA.
For the Dobricks, you own part of the company as well, correct?
I do.
Is the plan to have all of those locations the same, so they're all going to have the coin, they're all going to...
Honestly, we're just trying to get into like developing additional locations and like figuring out where we want to do that. But yeah, we want to like keep the vibe the same. Like it should have the same feel, the same aesthetic, the same, everything. I mean, we're still trying to perfect like just the first location. So yeah.
Franchising out a restaurant is obviously hard. Do you guys have somebody on your team helping you guide the way?
Yeah, we just actually hired a brand new COO that's taking over all of like the operations of the company, which is huge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's been awesome. And he's been in there every day just at the restaurant these first like 2 weeks. He's like fresh. We just hired him 2 weeks ago.
Hot and fresh and pepperoni.
And ready to make some pizzas.
Is he the one that helped put the spicy vodka on after you guys cook it?
Yeah. So
what an improvement.
I know.
Not that I liked it before, but now it's so saucy it just drips off.
Yeah, it's like melt in your mouth. It's so he's like changed the whole process and the flow. He's like trying to come up with an actual system so every employee makes the pizza the same exact way, because some people are like, they have their own personal preferences and they will make the pizza the way they think tastes best, but it's not necessarily the way that we want it to be presented, And so now he has like an exact flow, an exact system. And then we can replicate that into like additional restaurants and things.
What other improvements has he done?
Organizing the restaurant. It's a really small space, so like having like where equipment is being stored, keeping things clean and tidy. What else? Just like the flow of people, like what they're doing at all times. Like sometimes it felt like there was like 8 people behind the counter just kind of like doing not much, like they didn't all have like a task, and now everybody there, it's like more efficient. It's just flowing way better.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So you have such a unique story. You were plucked out of Chicago.
Yes, I was.
Transplanted to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know, you started out as a content creator's assistant, and you worked your way up, and now you are
manager and president.
Of the same creator. That's very, very rare.
Yeah, incredibly rare.
And there were a lot of other milestones in between that you took yourself.
Yeah.
You somehow became an influencer yourself.
Yeah.
How? So you moved back. You moved in 2016 to LA.
2018.
And at that time, you were just going to be taking on random assistant roles.
Yeah, so the way that I moved out here was I was going into my senior year of college, and David was like starting to blow up on YouTube at the time. He was getting like he was just getting like 1 million views a video, which was huge. And he was like, "I need an assistant. Do you want to move out here? Blah blah blah." And I was like, "Well."
Why'd he pick you?
I think he just like trusted me, and like I was kind of always at like like a big sister to him. And so if there was someone that was going to be able to like take care of his home and like respond to an email appropriately, like he knew that I could do that, like handle like the very bare minimum of business management or whatever, or just personal life management, like, yeah. But so he knew that I was like capable of doing that, and he trusted me, and we had that like friendship, and I didn't have a job, so all the things kind of fell into place perfectly. But yeah, so I moved out, and I was actually only supposed to be living here for 6 months. I was doing an internship for my last, I needed one more credit to graduate. And I wanted to graduate. So I was literally the person like typing back in the emails to my advisor being like, Natalie's doing so great this week. She did this, this, and that, because you had to send in weekly reports.
Oh, you were your own weekly report manager?
I was my own advisor, like reporting back to my advisor at school.
Yeah. Were you a made up name at David Dobrik LLC?
I just pretended like I was David because I had access to his email. He knew that I was doing this, by the way.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it himself, obviously.
Obviously not. But I remember like we had to, at the end of the semester, you had to put a report together, like what you learned and like with photos and things. And they didn't really know that I was like they thought I was working out of an office building, and I like, you know, pretended like I was working for David's manager at the time. And so I went into his office. I took photos like I was like working there. And
that's
was, like,
so funny.
Yeah, and we have the photos actually. It's really funny. Was
there hesitation for you to move out here?
Initially, yes. I think I just wasn't sure. Well, honestly, I was really young, so it sounded like a fun opportunity to be in like a new city, and I like taking on those like different opportunities, I guess, and doing something completely random that other people would be like, I'm not moving across the country. I was like, yeah, let's fucking do it. But my parents, I feel like, were torn. My mom was actually like kind of more supportive. Now it's kind of like flipped in a way where David grew up knowing my mom, and like they had a relationship in Vernon Hills and whatnot, and he was always like the kid, like just like messing around and whatnot, getting into not trouble, but I don't know, just like being annoying. And she was like, you're really gonna go work for him? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, she was not about it. But it's funny how the things have worked out. So now we're all so blessed that I took the opportunity, because I am incredibly blessed. So
was it hard making the transition from Chicago to LA? Because you didn't really have much of your own time, because it was always work, nonstop, correct?
Yeah, and I didn't have any friends here. I just knew David, and David, in the beginning, I was never in a single video. I was never in a single piece of content for the first like year to year and a half. And that was like by design, because I was just here to work, and like it was never a thought that I was going to be like a person in the videos or whatever. And so I don't even know how that actually ended up happening, how I actually got into the videos and whatnot. I don't remember how that happened, but I
assume a jump scare. You have good screams.
Oh, maybe it was that. Yeah, David scaring me. That makes sense. That'll do it. That's funny. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's funny. But yeah, so.
Did you have any idea what you were getting yourself into? Because obviously you were familiar with the videos and the style of content that he was creating.
No, I had no idea.
Really?
I had never. I think when I decided I was going to move out, I watched some of the videos, maybe. But I just honestly like went so blindly, like just for the opportunity to like be living in LA. He just bought a beautiful home. Like it just sounded all so perfect, you know? And I had no idea what being a YouTuber was. I had no idea how he was even making the money, but I knew that he was. And I wasn't thinking about it as like a long-term career. I was just thinking about it of like, I'm 20 years old. This is like a fun thing for me to just do and like put on my resume, and then I can go back to Chicago and live my normal life. And then literally within 2 weeks, I think I was there with you. It was within my first 2 weeks of being here in LA, David had an opportunity to shoot a Super Bowl campaign with J.Lo. You were there shooting it as well, right?
Yeah.
And that was the first time I met you. And that was like, I mean, it was only 2 weeks in, but I was just like, whoa, like my mind was blown. I was like, what is he doing that he's filming with J.Lo and he has all these opportunities and he's getting paid to do this, let alone like, it was just bizarre to me. And then that's when it kind of like clicked in. I was like, okay, wait, this is actually like more substantial and more like long-term than I had originally anticipated.
Was that the moment where you realized you could be here long-term?
It definitely clicked in for me at that point.
Because aside from that, it was just goofing off at Scott's house and taping Jason to the wall.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is fun.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, that Super Bowl campaign was insane.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up going to Minnesota. Were you there for that?
No, I didn't go for that. But I was there to film with J.Lo, and it was those opportunities and like having those conversations. And that opportunity was with AT&T, so we were talking to like on site, like the executives from AT&T, their marketing executives, and it's just like.
Were you the one handling that?
No, I was there. I honestly, I don't even remember why David even brought me. I didn't do anything there that day.
I know we had to get an edit up that day, so we brought the laptop there and we were editing.
I remember that. I remember like, yeah, sitting with the computer outside and editing something. But other than that, like I was at that point, I was just answering emails and getting lunch, like getting food. But I think that he also at the beginning, like he had no idea what to do with me. Like he knew that he needed help, but he didn't know like how he needed help. And
were you kind of just shadowing him?
Yeah, like I remember my first day. I literally like everything I do, I like try to take it seriously and like try to put my best foot forward. And but keeping in mind like I'm working for like my little idiot neighbor at the end of the day. And so, but I'm like trying to take it seriously as like an actual like career opportunity. And so I wake up at like 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. sharp. I remember.
Oh my God.
I like wanted to feel so professional. Like this is my first day on the job. And
I remember this too, how serious you took it in the beginning.
But I think that's like why I'm here today. Cause I like genuinely did take it seriously. Like even when it was like such a joke. And I like had my laptop set up. I made myself a coffee. I don't even ever drink coffee. And I had like my planner and my pen, like I set up everything like perfectly, and like I didn't even know like where to begin. I just like sat there and I was like, yes, like I did it. And then I just answered emails that day, and then David didn't even get up till like probably noon or 1. I was just kind of like chilling in the house, and I was like, okay, I guess this is what my work is, you know. But then like along the way you just start to like figure out like there's other opportunities and things, like just observing like got me so far, you know, and I was able to just like absorb everything that everyone else was doing, or like listen in on conversations like, oh, like Scott's doing this today, or he has this brand deal, or someone's making this kind of merch and they're doing this and they're making this, and you know, whatever, you just like absorb. And yeah, and I learned a lot, and now I'm here.
At what point did you really start showing your value of how you would be able to help the business?
I don't even know. I think I want to say like a couple months in is when I took over the email full time. There was nobody checking it before. Not like it was just thousands of emails unread.
Business emails for sponsorship opportunities?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, obviously not all of them, but
yeah.
there were some in there that were just being disregarded. And I started to pay more attention to like the friends and what the friends were doing and how they were making money and whatnot. And I knew that there was even just like other creators that were putting out merch more consistently. And I love fashion. I love like design. I think it's really cool and fun. And so that was when I sort of had a meeting with Fanjoy at the time to like take over his merch. Like that, that was like my number one like full-time project, where I was like, okay, we should be doing like drops every month. Like we have the same clickbait word on a t-shirt that's selling incredibly well, keep in mind. But
can you share any of those numbers? Or guesstimates?
I mean, he was doing 8 figures in merch a year, which is crazy. And that was when we were dropping things like monthly. We had a new like collection coming out each month, and like I got to help with the design process and like coming up with what colors we were doing and then shooting it with him. And it was all very basic. It's not like there was not much production value going into these things. But it was just like really cool and really fun. And like, I felt like I could see what I was doing and what I was helping create was actually like generating income, a lot of income. And that was a really cool feeling. And like seeing people like wear it out and about is really cool. And, yeah, that was my number one project where I feel like I really contributed and helped make the most out of it. And that was probably the easiest way to generate income. So
when you were out and about, at what point did people start coming up to wanting to take photos with you?
I don't remember. I don't remember the first, I think, and it's so funny because you know, obviously that still happens. Like those interactions still happen today, and we'll be with people. Like we've brought business partners to Dobricks, for example, to like have a meeting or whatever. And they're like, oh my gosh, does this happen every day? And I'm like, well, not every day. We are at our restaurant, so it is going to happen. But it's just funny. Like I feel like I've been watching David do it for so long. And even before it happened to me, I feel like I just like, it came so naturally, and he interacts with people like on such a like normal wavelength. Like it's like so normal that
I think he's the best at it.
Yeah.
He's so genuine too, and he's always down to take a photo. He's always down to do anything for anybody that comes up to him.
Oh yeah, totally.
And that's so rare for like people, especially of his status.
I mean, it's crazy. Like we could literally be in the car. Someone will come up to us on the street, like we'll be driving, and then someone on the street corner will recognize him or whatever, and we're like in like some sort of heated conversation or something, right? And like the emotional, like the temperament in the car is not good, but he'll roll down that window and he'll be like, "Hi, it's so good," and I'm like, I could never just like snap out of it like that. Like I just, yeah, but he's really good at like managing that and like being really like approachable and kind to everybody. But yeah, it's just funny. I don't know when the first time was that happened, but it is really interesting. It is really cool. I remember the first time, actually we were just watching this the other day. I don't know why. We were like going back into, I think David and I and maybe some friends, into old videos and whatnot. And we had done the merch pop-up in New York. And that was, I feel like I talk about this a lot, but that was the first time I have a video where I went up to the window of the building that we were doing it in. I was like on the 5th floor, and I like opened the window like a crack, and I like peek my head out. Like you can just see like this part of my face, and people recognized that it was me, and they were like, Natalie. Like you can hear like the whole crowd of like 10,000 kids just like scream, and they start chanting my name, Natalie, Natalie. And like I had brought one of my like longtime childhood friends, Sammy Pep, my girl Sammy Pepper. Shout out Sammy. No, but I brought her, and like it was crazy, and she had no idea like the sort of like impact that we had on people, because you don't really, you know, you see videos online, they have a bunch of views, but like you don't understand how people like actually recognize, interact with us on the street, especially at that time when it was really crazy. And I remember we were trying to like leave. I had gone into our car in the back alley, and there was still a bunch of kids all around, and we were leaving, and there was kids like running after the car, like banging on the, like I was like the fucking Beatles or something, you know. And Sammy was like, what world are you living in? Like she was freaking out. She was like, Natalie, what is happening right now? And I was like, I don't know, this is really crazy. That was like the craziest, that was the peak of like craziness that I've ever experienced.
What else would you say was another craziness? Because you did the college tours as well.
Oh yeah,
you did obviously the podcast tour.
Yeah. I mean, probably one of the coolest moments was, and I have this actually framed in my house, was the Views tour in Chicago at the Chicago Theater, where Jason and David like sold that out, and we made it like a whole, I think Scott performed.
How many people is that?
Like 3,500, 3,800, something like that. That was really cool. And it was just like in our hometown. Like it's a really just awesome moment, like to experience, and to be able to say that you did that is awesome.
Doug the Pug came out.
Did he come out?
Doug, John Stamos. It was
star-studded.
Stamos was there
too. Oh my God. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's so funny. Like so many things happen, and I wish that I had written everything down as it was happening.
That would have been such a cool Natalie thing if you had a little diary of it.
Oh my God. Yeah.
What's in your diary?
We're not getting into that.
But you didn't write stuff then?
I have like some, like, but not consistently.
Because there were so many. I'll never forget when Shawn Mendes came to the house.
Oh my God.
That was the coolest thing.
Oh my God. Wait, that's so funny. So, well, for a long time, Shawn was like my celebrity crush. Yeah, crazy. And like Stitches was my jam. I'd be like every day, like it's on the way to school, like singing Stitches. And I don't know why, but I was like so attached to this song for no reason. I don't really even remember what the context of the song is. But and I remember David had befriended him in some way, and he was like, Shawn's gonna be coming over to the house today. And I was like, excuse me, what? And you know, David's like, oh, he's coming over in 20 minutes. And I'm like, I'm not prepared, you know, whatever. And then he comes over, and they're like hanging out. He's totally normal, very chill. And he was on Vine too, you know, so they were like, had that relatable aspect. He's like our age or whatever. And we're like sitting around the table, and he's talking about, he's very into like health and fitness. and he was talking about how he like eats to fuel his body, not to like, you know, he's not like, you know, geeking out on like junk food and sugar and all this stuff, and like that's my jam. Like I just love like sweets and things. And then David was like, oh, I guess it's not gonna work out, Natalie. And he was like so confused, and I was like, this is so embarrassing. And he was like, then they went into my like diet and whatnot, and it was just like so embarrassing. I was like, this is not how I pictured the interaction going, but okay, I'll just go with it.
Were there any other celebrity interactions that you were just so shocked at that you were in that moment besides Halsey, which I almost ruined?
I feel like a lot of people almost ruined that for me, but I had no idea, because I never would have guessed that would have happened. But other celebrity interactions, oh my gosh, Kendall, when Kendall came over to surprise
Zayn for his birthday.
So she had actually come over earlier in the day. We were friends with some of her mutual friends, and they had come over, and she brought, I don't know at what point that they got this, but they brought a pet fish over, like from Petco, like in a little bag.
For Zayn?
No, for David.
Oh,
as
okay.
like thank you for inviting us over to the house. I don't know. It was very random, but it was really cute. It was really funny. And we ended up naming the fish like something, a spoof off of a Kardashian name or something. But she brought like a pet fish over, and she came over during the day at like noon, and we were just like all hanging out, and it was very like low key. And then they were over for like an hour, and then David was like, I'm actually throwing birthday party for my friend Zayn tonight, like do you guys want to come? And they were like, oh yeah, that'd be so fun. And like they're like, we can help like with the, you know, setting up the decorations and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, this is like crazy. What do you mean you're gonna help? Like whatever. So then at like 8:00, the party starts at like 10, and she comes over with like 4 other girls, and they are like literally blowing up balloons and like
Kendall was?
Yeah, like blowing up the balloons and like helping put like decor up and stuff like that. It was like the most funny, crazy thing. And it was really sweet and like I was like, wow, this is like very not what I had expected, in the best way. And that was like a very, like surreal celebrity encounter, if you will. And then she stayed and she hung out. She like played the bowl. She surprised Zayn. Like she was like down to do whatever. It was really, I feel like she gets like a bad rep for being like high strung or whatnot, but it was cool.
Have you guys talked since?
No.
So you switched from assistant to influencer, and I think you did it the best. You showed it was possible. I think you paved the way for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. At what point did sponsors start reaching out to you?
I remember my first.
Was it the island?
No, that wasn't my first. That was my like biggest at the time.
You went away on an island with your mom for a show.
So it's so funny because Love Island just is coming out right now, and that's what I was promoting back in the day in like 2019. Love Island, CBS had reached out, and they were like, "Hey, we want to bring you and Matt King, very random, to Fiji to the Love Island set, and like have a whole experience."
You and Matt King.
Yeah. And
Natalie and Matt King are perfect together.
I was like, what? I think maybe because we were like the 2 single people in the friend group. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and not only were they paying for this whole like 5-day experience, first class travel to Fiji, which I'd never flown first class before, and then they were also paying me on top of that to like create posts and stuff. Like I was like, what the like this isn't, and it wasn't like.
How many followers did you have at that point?
Maybe 1 million.
Okay.
And we quoted them like something really high, and they like just went for it. They were just like, yeah, okay, we want her. And they paid it, which is crazy. And it was at the time, this is absurd, but it was $60,000 for me to go to Fiji for 5 days and promote the show. And I had to make a bunch of content, however, but I was like, 60 grand? Like that's insane.
And you got to bring your mom.
And I got to bring my mom, and which also like her first class, everything paid for. Like it was the most insane experience. I was in shock.
You seem like the kind of girl who lays in bed at night and screams in the pillow that something crazy just happened. Did you do that?
I remember freaking out. I remember being like really scared to like tell David because I was missing like 5 days. I was missing a whole week of work.
Which in vlog terms, that's 2 videos.
Yeah, no, it was like a really big deal. And not only for that, it was like, I am a full-time employee on the payroll I'm not really like an influencer, even though I have a following and I get these deals and things like that. My priority is my job. And like our workplace rules are just like that of any other workplace. Like you have like your vacation time, your sick time, and like you need to be working. And I remember telling him, I was like so scared because I was like, I can't pass up on this kind of money. Like this is insane. This is, whatever. And he was just like because I feel like at the same time it was also that like pivotal moment where like if he was like allowing me to do this, I was going to be doing more things opportunities like and brand deals and things like that. And it's like that work life or the work influencer whatever balance is, it's hard to manage. And it was because I always wanted to take like every opportunity because it's just amazing like what you can do and the amount of money that these brands pay people to create posts and do things that are so low lift is insane. It's insane. And that's how I'm in the management side of things now because I know it's insane and making that money that way is very, it's very, very affluent in that way. But
what was your first sponsorship? Was it like a skincare type thing? I feel like I remember you.
I did a High Smile teeth whitening brand deal. I don't even know what it was, like a video or something on Instagram. And I just like put my little like High Smile whitening kit in, and it was like $400.
Were you beyond stoked?
Oh, I was so excited. And I remember like I was like just in my bathroom just like filming it, and like I don't know, it's just a funny little moment. I have like all the photos from it too. It's so funny.
I remember finding your Twitter because you were the only other one tweeting, and me and you were pretty neck and neck. And then I remember I looked at your page, and out of nowhere you were like 50,000 followers ahead of me. I'm like,
really?
Whoa. Because no one else was tweeting. Everyone else was just Instagramming.
Yeah.
But I feel like you had like the secret little life like on Twitter that you would do at night.
That's really funny. I did love like David and I, when we were in high school, we like competed for who had more Twitter followers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was like a thing between us. And I always had more until he like really fully pursued.
You guys were friends. You guys were just friends in high school?
Yeah. Middle
school?
Yeah, middle school. I met him in the 6th grade.
What was your first impression of him?
I saw him in I wasn't a very like social. I wasn't like a social butterfly by any means, but I would walk home from school. Like the moment the bell rang, I had my bag like fully ready. I didn't even stop at my locker after school. I just booked it out the door and walked home before even the buses like left the building of school. Like I was already at home. It was a 5-minute walk from my school. And one day I guess I like didn't leave quick enough and whatnot, and so that whole rat pack of like David, John, Alex, Reggie, all of them,
the rat pack.
And because they would all hang out. You want me to pause?
Oh no, you can keep going.
Okay. They would all hang out outside like in our neighborhood, and I could look out my window and see them all hanging out, but I wasn't friends with them. I could see them, I could hear them outside my window hanging out, but
Did you want to hang out with them?
I think a part of me did, but I was always so shy and like so intimidated by like speaking to other people that I didn't put myself out there.
In that house, was it just you, or did your sisters live with you?
Just me and my mom. That's it.
Aww.
Yeah.
And they're the cool kids who were outside and you didn't get to say hi.
I know.
Did you have a crush on any of them?
No.
John.
I met John in 3rd grade before he spoke a lick of English, and he was funny. We called him John Paul, and he was so cute. He was like this little chubby little Filipino kid, and he was like so tiny and so cute. I remember him.
So you guys figured out the sponsorship thing. Was it a conscious shift for you going forward to focus on your own sponsorships as well, or how'd you navigate that? Because you also did it in an incredible way where you have a team. I feel like no one else, like at least in our friend group, really has like a big team like you. But like I feel like you've done it right. And I think that's why you're in the spot that you're in.
Yeah. Well, I knew that there was an opportunity. Like obviously I saw it from David, and I'm lucky enough where I get to spend so much time with him. So I also get to absorb like a lot of his knowledge and a lot of the his process of doing the things that he does, and his like tips and tricks on things, So I'm lucky in that regard. But yeah, I don't know. I immediately recognized like I was getting these offers in my email, and I didn't have time to focus on doing those things for myself because I was doing it for David, and I didn't want to lose that like relationship because I genuinely like really loved making the vlogs, helping do the brand deals, creating the merchandise. Like that was like really rewarding for me, more so than like putting up a sponsored post, you know. But I didn't want to pass up on that opportunity because that would be stupid. And so I took a bunch of meetings with a bunch of different management agencies and whatnot, and I was like, this is, you know, I actually met with a couple people, one manager who I'll never forget, and I told them what I was interested in. That's like the baseline, like you say, like what you're interested in, what you would like hope to do. And I talked about, you know, like a clothing line one day, or, you know, just like enjoying fashion and whatnot. And I remember I wanted to go to Fashion Week. It was like my dream to go to Fashion Week. And I remember talking to one of these managers, and she was like, well, you know, you understand, like was so like down on me about it because I wasn't a fashion influencer by any means. I was just a girl that like had a following, right? There wasn't like a necessarily like a direction, like some other like people like have their niche and they like dive into that. And she was just like, well, you know, like you have to hire a stylist, and you have to have a hairstylist, and then you need to get an invitation to these shows, and you need to buy clothes, and was like telling me all these things that would impede me from getting there because I didn't have the money to do all that. And I was like, okay, I mean, I understand that you can do that way. And I've gone to Fashion Week now. I didn't necessarily have a stylist and a hairstylist and all this stuff, you know, like there are ways to do things, and there's ways to get invited to things and like seize opportunities without like doing all the cliche, like bullshit, if you will. But I remember like leaving that meeting, and I was like, screw her. I'm going to do all this shit without doing any of what she just said. And yeah, that was like a good moment for me.
That's great.
Yeah.
What do you do now outside of work stuff? How do you spend your time just hanging out?
I started reading a lot more.
Novels? Erotica?
Erotica. No, I'm like really into like Colleen Hoover right now. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, we were just in Costco and I saw her book, and Caitlin's like, I want to start reading this. I'm like, why?
They're so good. I'm like obsessed. Like
What
I
is it?
obsessively read them. It's like teeny romance. They're like in their 20s, like most of the characters. But it's just like the way that she writes is like really good. It's not like cliche cheesy. It is a little cliche. It's like one of my favorite movies is Twilight. And like
Not Harry Potter.
Not Harry Potter yet.
The wand that I got you is right here.
Oh my God. I remember Joe surprised me with that wand years ago. And
A signed Daniel Radcliffe Harry Potter wand.
And I was so confused. I was like, thank you. Like, I was like, what? And he's like, is this not your favorite movie franchise? And I was like, I mean, I like Harry Potter, but like, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. That's really funny. You still have it.
Yeah.
But you know, there's like things that are cheesy, but still like enjoyable.
Yeah.
And her books are just like that. And I've read like 3 of them already just this summer.
So you love reading,
Mm-hmm.
pizza,
I love eating, and
management.
I like reading.
And what?
Eating, reading, and pizza, and
Clothing line.
yes, and my clothing line.
Are you wearing it now?
I am.
Elliday.
This top is Elliday. Yeah. This is our new color that's dropping in like a week or two. But I launched it in February. It was like a lifelong dream of mine to have my own clothing line one day. And
Did you know the name?
no, honestly, and there were other names that came before Elliday, that I thought were cool, but they were either taken. Like finding a name was so hard, took so long. But we came across Elliday because we wanted to make day wear, and we liked like the day just sounds like there's like positivity and it's like bright and light. I just liked that like notion of it. And then ELA was the last 3 letters of each of my names: Natalie, Noel, L, Mariduena, A, and then Elliday sort of like came to be. And that's like a subliminal thing. Like you don't need to know that's what that stands for, but it's cool. And like it's like a special little thing for me to know.
What kind of involvement do you have with it?
So I'm like one of the founding partners. I obviously do not do it all by myself. And I partnered with a company. I had like met with several companies over the past like several years when I was signed with my management company.
You're so good at business. You shopped around. Like, of course Natalie did. Of course she found the best person to work with. Like,
well, yeah. And I needed to find someone that understood.
You're a boss bitch. Like, let's just call it like it is.
Well, thank you. I try. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. Well, the other thing too is like a lot of companies approach influencers and they're like, oh my God, you have 3 million followers. We need all these posts and we're going to sell the brand for, whatever. And it's just like not really realistic. And I wanted to find someone that was equally as excited about creating a brand with me, wasn't just like pumping it out of like an influencer factory of like a million brands, whatever. And also understood that like I have a full-time job. So this clothing brand can't be my full-time job, but I want to partake in it as much as I can. And that's like the relationship that I have with it now. Like there are designers that actually like, I create a mood board. I create like, I wanted these pieces and whatnot. And I know what colors I want, and I'll tweak, they'll come up with the base designs and then I'll tweak it based on what I think is more like sellable. And we have a team that like helps run ads and do the social media page. And there's probably like 7 or 8 people on the actual Elliday team.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's that reaction when you get your ensemble back to you and you get to feel it and wear it and try it on? And like take it out in public.
Yeah, it's like sorry, my God. I don't know. I mean, seeing the first meeting that we had, they came to LA and they just brought like a bunch of samples of things and like prototypes, things that they had made in the past, fabrics that they have in there. They have their own factories where they're producing. They have 2 other clothing brands that they create for, and that are not like mine at all. Like there's an underwear brand and like a different like basics brand or whatnot. But yeah, and I was just like, it felt like so like I really felt like I was like a fashion like owner, like I was like, one of my lifelong dreams before when I was in college, I wanted to be like a luxury brand manager, like working at a Gucci or a Louis Vuitton or something and like helping on the corporate level, like managing the brand. And or like the PR or something like that, and it like to be in that role for myself with my own brand, my own company, like was like so surreal.
What's the reaction from people when they get your clothing?
I think people are like surprised. I feel like our prices are like at a very sort of like, I would say mid to high range. Like it's not like you're not getting anything for $20 necessarily. But
nothing's for $20 anymore. Caitlin thought you guys were very fairly priced.
Yeah, I mean we try to be. It's like fairly priced. We try to like stay with the norms while also like trying to accommodate for all the people that we have to pay and the things we have to do. And like keeping things like really high end and like luxurious. Like I'm really picky about the fabrics and like having things that feel nice and like comfortable on your body, and all of our sizing too. That was like a big important thing for me. We don't produce like a high quantity of items yet because we don't have the clientele. We're not, selling 10,000 bodysuits, so we produce smaller quantities, which means that our size range can't necessarily be as expansive. And so all of our pieces are like the elastic and like spandex is like really big on our thing. And like some of our bottoms, like it says it's a double XL, but like it can fit up to like a 4XL, because it's so stretchy and like so expandable. And I don't know, I think it's been really cool. It's been like a really fun experience to like learn. It's so different from anything else that I do, and it's very frustrating sometimes. And we get our things from overseas and we own our own factory overseas, and it can be a little frustrating, but it's good. It's been fun.
I feel like you have like 5 big things in your life. So Elliday, Dobricks, management, Natalie, and your personal life. Yeah. How do you balance all of that time? Because they're all so time consuming. Is it hard for you?
Yeah, I would say it's hard. I mean, luckily there's people, like, if I have to tap out a little bit, like, there are people there on each of those teams that's like helping run and do things. I would say like my personal life probably gets the biggest hit of all because I prioritize the other things first. But I'm lucky in the sense where like my job and my personal life are kind of intertwined. Like, yes, I'm working like all the time, but I'm working with my best friend and oftentimes a lot of my other friends. And it's really fun, you know, like we get to go to Europe and like go on these trips and like it's work, you know, we're networking, we're working with these brands, we're doing whatever they need us to do. But it's still really fun at the end of the day. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Like I literally think I have like, not the perfect life, but like I have a really, really, really amazing life. And like, I'm so blessed. Like I think about it all the time. I'm like, this is crazy that, I don't know, like this is my job. This is my life. This is what I get to do. And like, I have a home and I have a car and like all these things that I never in a million years thought I would have at this age, at least, you know? But yeah.
How do you think your persona has changed since you've taken on the managerial role?
It's funny, like looking back at old videos too, like the 2018 assistant Natalie era, if you will, whatever.
Messy bun, glasses.
Yeah. Just like rolled out of bed and like trying to work all day, you know, like
trying to find an alligator.
And like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's funny. I mean, I think I carry myself a lot differently now. I feel like I have a lot of years of experience of like needing to be like the head honcho of sorts. And now I feel like I'm no longer intimidated and like shy. Like I feel like I try to like insert myself in things when needed because I feel like I know what I'm doing most of the time, or try to know what I'm doing at least most of the time. Pretend. But yeah, I don't know. I think of my like aura is like a little different.
I think it is too. You came over the other day while me and him were playing pool and you like had your hands in your pockets and you're like walking over like, what's up?
What?
We're like old now. We're just like, huh? But now you walked over like just checking in, making sure everything was working good. And you went back to the kitchen.
What I did?
Yeah.
I don't even know that I'm doing that. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I'm also like running at 1,000,000 miles a minute sometimes. So I just like, if I need to get something done, I just like walk up and I'm like, I need this now. And I just get it done. I don't like really care. But no, like I feel like I found success at such a young age that I don't know. I just feel like I carry myself with that. Like I feel very sure of myself sometimes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you still feel sure of yourself even after you went to Lollapalooza and nearly died after waking up in a tree?
What?
When you were 16 and your tent got attacked by a bear on a camping trip?
You're combining like 3 different stories.
God
into
damn
one.
it, Sammy Pep.
Wait, did you DM her?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Your best friend. What happened? You went to Lollapalooza and you woke up in a tree?
Wait, what did... No. No. Wait, what did you ask her? What's the context of this question?
I just asked for some sizzling tea, good memories that I could ask you about.
Oh my God, that's funny. Well, so my best friend, Sammy Pepper, and I, we went to summer camp together for 7 years. I would go for 8 weeks every summer to New Hampshire and go to the sleepaway camp. And it was the most like formative thing of my entire life. I'm literally probably the reason person I am today because of camp and all my friends there.
Camp Robin Hood?
Camp Robin Hood, CRH, yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time you did a lot of stuff, huh?
Ew, what did she tell you?
I don't know. Did you get kicked out?
I think so, yeah. It's
Okay.
kind of like we don't really know, but I think her and I got kicked out.
Yeah.
We didn't get invited back.
Especially with the stories from Israel.
What the fuck? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, is this said to ask about that one?
Is this an ask about that one? Oh God. Oh my God. What are my friends like? My friends and my sister betraying me for? That's really funny. Well, at camp, the bear. So first of all, Lollapalooza, Sammy and I went when we were like 17, And we really took ourselves on a wild ride. And I will never forget it ever. But we were like wandering on the festival, and I found friends of mine. They were like 2 or 3 years older than me in high school. And I found them, and they were like, Nat, you have to come with us. And I was like, Sammy, let's go with them. It was like some cute boys from high school. And she was like, no, we have to wait here. Our other friends are meeting us here. And I was like, we've been waiting already in this spot for like an hour. And I was like, they're not coming. Like, let's go. And she was drunk. And she's like, I'm going to sit here and wait. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go with them into the like towards the stage. And I ended up going in with this guy, and had a great old time. We're dancing, we're singing, like puts me on his shoulders, like the most cliche like music festival like experience or whatever.
Didn't you guys make love?
No.
Oh.
Do we make love?
I don't know. I thought you guys did.
No.
Okay, never
mind. And so then at the end, the set ends, and I'm like, oh my God, how long have I been in here? Like, Sammy's probably freaking out. Like, she does not know where I am. And I'm in the middle of a crowd of thousands of people. And so we go to like the porta potty area or whatever, because the set's done. And he like tries to kiss me or something. And I was not having it. And
Gross.
So and so he was like, okay, and I like swerved him or whatever. And he goes into
You do that a lot, right? I feel like you swerve a lot of people.
I know. I
Did you
should
swerve
probably
Ilya?
just. Yeah, but then I ended up I did swerve him for a long time. But yeah, so then when he went to the porta potty to go to the bathroom, I just ran away. And I left him. So he came out of the porta potty. Probably, I don't even think I talked to him since.
Never seen him since?
Never seen him since.
Wow. Sorry, Greg. What's his name? Ken?
Oh my God. Yeah. But then I found Sammy, and she was standing in the middle of the festival, like out a ways with my mom. So my mom had taken us like to the festival and like was in the festival with us, but just not, with us.
Yeah.
And she was standing there with my mom and like 3 police officers. They were like filing a missing report, like child report or whatever, because they thought that I had like been taken. She thought that these men had taken me into the festival or whatever. And I was like, no, those were my friends. And yeah, that was that story, that traumatic Lollapalooza story. I'm going back in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Sammy.
Yeah, thanks, Sammy.
To wrap it up, if you could relive one bit from the vlogs, what would it be?
Oh, there's so many. What's my favorite bit?
Whether it happened to you, somebody else, the prep work, seeing it all come together.
My gosh. It's like easy for me to think about my least favorite bit than it is to think about my favorite bit.
Oh, let's do both.
Okay, well, my least favorite was like the U-Haul bits.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I had to set it up.
You had to drive too. I loved watching you drive.
Yeah, I drove. I set it up. I cleaned it up. We did one where they set up a dinner table in the U-Haul, and I had to go around, and David's like picky. Okay, so like I was driving around to different like thrift stores around the LA area, trying to find the particular like wooden table and 4 chairs and certain plates that he wanted that looked good for whatever production. And then we filled all the plates with cereal and milk, and I would drive the U-Haul, and I would stop, and all the cereal and milk would go flying, whatever. It was this whole thing. And we had to redo it like 3 times. Every time it took us all day to film that bit.
Did you get blacklisted from U-Haul?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to rent U-Hauls anymore.
Still?
I haven't tried since, but it was in like an eternal like ban. Yeah. Like I'm not allowed. Yeah.
Can't move.
Can't move. Yeah. So that was like my least favorite. I remember it was a hot summer day, and I'm sitting in this hot truck like with like warm milk everywhere, and it's like all over. I just felt disgusting, and nobody helped clean up either. It was just like little old me, like wiping down the sides of the U-Haul. All these like big strong men are like, we're filming a vlog bit. I'm like, okay, losers. So that was my least favorite. But my favorite, gosh. It was really fun. but also kind of stressful, was the video that we filmed with Kylie. Like, it was really fun because she was so fun and like such a great sport about it, and like was genuinely, I think, having like a lot of fun filming it too. But like I was the one, so it was David, Kylie was in the back, and Stoss was also in the back, and then someone I was inside the mall finding random people. Like, I had a clipboard with like release papers, whatever, that they were like, oh, I'll be on camera, and I told them that, like, you know, we're playing a trivia game or whatever, pop culture trivia game. And I was just wandering the mall, and like there'd be times where like I didn't have someone, there wasn't that many people in this mall, and David would be like, you need to hurry up, like Kylie's waiting in the car. And I was like, fuck. Like, I was like scrambling the mall, like looking for someone to like get in the car and do trivia questions, and for Kylie to then surprise. But yeah, that was fun. That was a really fun video to put together, and it's like so memorable. I think it won like an award or something.
Yeah, a streamy or something.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
People were saying we should do behind the vlog. You know how people go back through like all of the Office episodes or all of Boy Meets World.
Oh my God, I'd be so good at that. It'd be so fun.
Yeah, hearing you pull people out was a really cool perspective.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that you were doing that in there.
With the clipboard. I was like, sign this for a pop culture trivia quiz.
Did they need to sign the release?
Yeah, that was at a time where I feel like production value in YouTube videos was like going up a little more, so we were just like nervous, and it was just David and I like shooting these things most of the time, you know,
right? And
we didn't want to get in trouble down the line, or if they said like, oh, I don't like Kylie or something like that,
to try and take it down later on.
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, is Elliday out now?
Elliday's out now. Summer collections are out and ready to purchase at elliday.com. Check us out on Instagram, TikTok. We're having fun doing stuff, and yeah.
Men's collection coming soon?
Hopefully one day soon. Yeah, we want to do like more unisex stuff.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin loves do you know the bar?
The bar, like the clothing brand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's they have one that says fiance, and they have like wifey.
Yeah.
But wifey, hubby, like.
Yeah. That'd be cute.
I'd bet.
And I'm sold.
Where can everybody find you?
I'm Natalie NOEL on all my social media platforms. So
check her out.
Check me out.
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Lightweights. Out. Cool. Thank you.